We got quite a bit of really important Tesla stock news today. We'll start with the good news and then we'll move on to what's happening in China, which you want to pay attention to. But for long-term investors, we just got quite a bit of good news today. It's a record 370 Cybertrucks spotted at Giga, Texas. Production is ramping, says Elon. And we got an update this morning too. And Gregor Truck says there should be well over 400 Cybertrucks outside this morning. There are so many of them. This is definitely good news. More here. It was easy to count to 100, but now whoever counts all of these Cybertrucks I have huge respect for. Obviously, higher 4680 production is definitely helping Tesla produce more Cybertrucks. Tesla Cybertruck production rate will likely exceed Rivian sometime in Q2. I think it is clear now that the ramp appears much faster than the 18 months to get to 250,000 annually guidance Elon was providing in November. Perhaps we might even beat the 15 months which slipped out of Lars in an interview. So it's certainly possible that Elon has been sandbagging recently. You don't want my optimism? Okay, I will give you some pessimism maybe as Elon's strategy now. And here's a VIN chart that shows what Cybertruck production used to look like until February 26, but now it has changed. And I take this as a very bullish statement from Elon Musk for us Tesla stock investors, and maybe not even for long-term investors, maybe for medium-term investors too. Tesla AI is very underrated. Had 2 AI founders while my car drove us through San Francisco. If you have a friend with FSD, beg them for a ride. If you think Elon Musk has competition, you are simply wrong. There is none. To which Elon replies, yeah, 99% of the people have no idea. And this is the good part. An improvement will accelerate dramatically now that we are no longer AI training compute constrained. Right now, you want to be paying attention to what Tesla is doing. Everyone right now is getting blown away by 12.3, but it is likely that 12.3 FSD will look like a complete piece of poop in 2 months or so. Things are moving fast. After saying Tesla was compute constrained about 17 days ago, Elon Musk now says Tesla is no longer compute constrained, and that's a major change. I wonder if Tesla shareholders should be thanking Michael Dell and if AMD came to the rescue, Dojo went online, or if Tesla got an Nvidia allotment. Here are likely possibilities. Elon says Tesla is no longer compute constrained. This means either number 1, Nvidia training compute cluster is doing well. Number 2, Dojo has passed a tipping point of usefulness, or a combination of both. So this could be bullish on multiple levels. Dojo might be working perhaps better than expected. Maybe not, but maybe it is. We don't really know. We can only speculate at this moment. But certainly something is happening. And if Dojo is working better than expected, what does that mean to the Tesla stock? Morgan Stanley, in that case, is going to be right about Dojo. Now, maybe it was because of Michael Dell, but either way, this is great news. I see Dave Lee as a very reasonable and credible Tesla stock investor. The most exciting thing about Tesla's end-to-end FSD approach is the potential acceleration in rate of improvement, so he's getting excited about this too. And check this out, another FSD V12.3 miracle. Jeremy and I were driving to lunch on a 2-lane road and needed to turn left into the parking lot. The car signaled and hugged the center line. As it approached the turn, the car coming the opposite direction slowed down and the driver motioned for us to go. Blake was probably. Soon as the driver motioned, my car immediately accelerated and turned into the parking lot. I was floored that it could see the person make a hand motion and interpret the meaning. So all it needs is just more data, high quality data. I'm not expecting this to move the stock today, but I take this as very, very, very bullish, because if people start thinking it is actually going to be happening sometime in the next 5 to 10 years, I think the stock would start to go up by quite a bit. I think we would have this high phase where Tesla stock would go up 50, maybe even 100% in a pretty short period of time, even if we don't have any tangible results, but just the hype alone could push it much higher. Tesla's Optimus bot may be ready for testing at gigafactories. This is evidenced by the announcement of a new job posting revealing some important details. Tesla has published an advertisement seeking an employee for a new position. The company is looking for a technical program manager for the Tesla bot. This person should help advance the development of the robot for pilot use in various manufacturing facilities. The challenge involves collaborating and coordinating teams from engineering, infrastructure, and manufacturing. Oh, but it gets more interesting. An employee in this position must be prepared to travel frequently. The primary location for a technical program manager will be Tesla's new headquarters in Palo Alto, California, but Tesla is planning to test Optimus in several factories at once, hinting at the fact that maybe Tesla has already made fairly significant progress. Here's a list of what the employee will need to do. Now, this specifically points out that we should expect some serious challenges. Manage trial recovery, ensure manufacturing lines are validated and or restored to prior condition post-trials. So this one post in itself may not be completely bullish, but if we start seeing more of these things, all of a sudden, the hype around Tesla could seriously shift. In the meantime, this is what the market is focused on today. Tesla has reportedly reduced production at Giga Shanghai. Tesla instructed employees to lower production of both the Model Y and the Model 3 by working 5 days a week instead of the usual 6.5 days. Now, if you read the full articles reporting on the story, some of them will contain this. This information is believed to be from reliable sources, but may include rumor and speculation. Accuracy is not guaranteed, but I assume personally it is true. If you remember, about a year and 3 or 4 months ago, Bloomberg reported a production cut, and later basically it turned out to be mostly true. The stock earlier in the day was down about 3%, but it has recovered to now being down only 1% roughly. And some markets are actually down today. So this does not really seem to worry the market too much. Or all other good news is just not letting the stock go down much. Here's AJ's reaction to the production cut. This was to be expected. Chinese market is extremely tough right now. Too many competitors who fight for survival. None of them are making money really. So once some of them go bankrupt and the competition actually starts to make a little bit of money, there will be less competition, which I think will give a little bit more room for Tesla to do better. But in the meantime, it's going to be tough. For this reason, this news shouldn't surprise anyone. AJ says, as I explained in another post, this is a red herring in the grand scheme of things. Market always overreacts both to the down and upside and sense a buying opportunity just as we see FSD emerge in front of our eyes. Look, if you are a long-term Tesla stock investor being disappointed in these Chinese sales, production would be, I think, almost the same or very similar to being disappointed at 2019 Model S and X sales. Look at some of these headlines from back then. Here's a headline from 2016. Tesla shares drop as Model X sales disappoint. Oh, that means you should have sold all of your Tesla stock right before that happened in 2016. Too bad for you. But this is how many people think that are invested in the stock market. I think Jason is right here. It's unbelievable to me that you can buy Tesla shares at $172 per share today, especially with all the positive news about FSD V12.3. Tesla is close to solving the problem of replacing 420 billion, yes, billion, hours of human driving time annually. 1.4 billion human drivers, each driving 300 hours annually. Even if a small fraction of these drivers use FSD, the financial impact is massive. Elon wasn't joking when he said the day FSD goes to wide release will be one of the biggest asset value increases in history. Nobody has ever created a product that frees out this much human time. What people choose to do with their new time while inside their vehicles is another question. Jason is going to be using X, and I personally will be reporting on the news from X. As a Canadian, I am super happy to see this. Another Model Y with Texas manufacturer plates, ADAS testing for FSD V12, this time in Calgary, Alberta, so it's coming to Canada for sure. What is going on here? Tesla Giga Berlin protesters aim to build more tree houses. I thought the police said they want to get rid of all of these protesters soon. The treehouse protesters are looking to extend their stay. The group says that they were not involved in the attack on the infrastructure, which halted the Model Y production in Giga Berlin, but I think it probably made these people that did the attack a bit more likely to actually proceed with their plans. They intend to stay in the forest for a long time. Even if new requirements make it impossible for us to protest, we will stand in Tesla's way beyond May 20th and stay here. Okay, so this is what happened. The administrative court allowed the camp to stay in the forest for the time being. This was against the demands of the police, which has stated that the tree houses must be dismantled due to potential safety concerns. The administrative court noted that the general considerations put forward by the police headquarters to justify the requirements regarding the incompatibility of the protest camp, including the tree houses, with nature conservation and building regulations for the danger forecast required under assembly law, were not sufficient. The good news, though, is that the police have responded by filing a complaint against the administrative court's decision before the Berlin Higher Administrative Court. Someone asked, are the Boring Company's flamethrowers actually sold out? Let's keep in mind that these were not flamethrowers. What's happening in our society right now is absolutely insane overall. I mean, these protesters are protesting on basically private land, and here's a homeowner in New York City that was arrested for trying to remove people that chose to stay in her property just for a little bit of time illegally. There's no lease contract, nothing. They just came and they stayed, and now she's getting arrested. This is insane. She needs to start an eviction filing in court to settle the landlord-tenant dispute. These people are not tenants. These are squatters, but they just came to stay for, I mean, they illegally entered the property. They are trespassing is what I would say. The most ridiculous part about this whole thing is that in New York City, after 30 days, you can claim squatter rights, but it hasn't been 30 days yet. But by the time it goes to court, it will have been 30 days. Can you see the absurdity in this? I am cool with protesters in public areas, no issue. But private property, basically? Nuh-uh. Invading people's houses? Definitely no. We keep learning new things about the Cybertruck. Tesla Cybertruck is wireless inductive charging ready. Now, I thought at first that this was maybe discovered during one of the teardowns of the Cybertruck, but someone found a reference to a connector called inductive charger headers on the battery pack of the Cybertruck in the service manual. This means that Tesla could retrofit an inductive charging pad on the Cybertruck when the wireless charging station becomes available. I think for premium vehicles it makes sense, but for cheaper vehicles, do you want to have wireless charging and pay more for electricity because it's less efficient? Probably not. Elizabeth Warren calls on the SEC to investigate Elon Musk over X and Tesla governance. She also got community noted. Since Elon Musk took over Twitter, I'm concerned Tesla's board has failed to manage conflicts of interest from his role as CEO of Tesla and Twitter, and she's urging the SEC to investigate. Community notes pointed out that Elon Musk is not the CEO of Twitter. The CEO of Twitter is Linda. Elon responded to this post, Senator Karen going after Elon now, to which Elon says, Senator Karen's main economic and tax advisor is SBF's dad, you know, the guy that stole billions of dollars from regular people with crypto, basically. Elon suspects that some of this is coming from him. Anyway, I think this is just political posturing. But she is calling for SEC to investigate, so this is not great news. Omar commented on FSD, and I think it's important to pay attention to what he's saying here. Don't let your Tesla bump into things. It's your responsibility to watch your car. Be careful around curbs, tight spaces, etc. Do not be complacent. You were warned. Anything that happens is your fault. There are people who want to take away your right to use this technology because they believe you're too stupid to be trusted with it. Don't prove them right. Especially be careful around poles. At least with V11, that's where I had some major issues. Tesla has reintroduced the referral program award that allows you to accelerate your Cybertruck delivery for 30,000 credits. However, it's not available anymore. If you see it next time, you have to take advantage of it basically immediately, or you're going to be late. I say it's good news that it's already gone because it proves that there's definitely a lot of demand for the Cybertruck. You cannot argue against that. Tesla posted this: earned, not given. Cyberhammer is now available as a referral award. All right. It's 35,000 credits. I think you need to basically sell 3.5 Teslas to get this. And Sawyer did get it, so congratulations, Sawyer. And look at this. She just did a kettlebell test on the Cybertruck. It seemed like it was a bit dangerous for her. Not for the Cybertruck, though. If she didn't throw it quite right, it could have bounced back on her. Oh, Sawyer is going to be driving the Cybertruck for the next 4 days. Steven says, keep count of how many times you have to say, sorry, I have a fiance. Larry's getting a Cybertruck. I'm happy for him. And Chuck Cook also is getting a Cybertruck delivered, I think tomorrow. He's also keeping his Model Y. Now, we know that our former president of the US is not exactly thrilled about EVs, but maybe after seeing this, he would consider changing his mind. Anyway, I want to show you some of the comments he made about EVs, but before I show you that, this bloodbath comment was actually related to EVs, and the mainstream media is not interpreting it exactly as it was actually said. Americans should take Trump's bloodbath comment as a warning, MSNBC reports. NBC reports Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he loses the election. Now, CNN, on the other hand, actually reported this more correctly. Trump warns of bloodbath for the auto industry and country if he loses the election. Now, putting the word country in there can still mislead many people, but at least they put the word auto industry, which makes a lot more sense. Anyway, these news outlets are trying to divide the country, and I don't like it. And the Objective Washington Post also posted, now this is an opinion piece, so okay. But it says the bloodbath Trump promised has already begun. They are really taking it quite far. Here's exactly what he said, and this is super relevant to us Tesla stock investors. China is now building a couple of massive plants where they are going to build the cars in Mexico, and they think they are going to sell those cars into the US. No, Trump said Saturday. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars if I get elected. Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. So Politico actually did a great job reporting on this. A fairly good job with their headline, "2 Trump's bloodbath tirade contain a warning on Chinese cars." I personally, whenever I see a viral clip making one political person look incredibly stupid, whether it's a leftist or a person on the right, I want to see the whole clip. Show me all of the context. Don't just show me 2 seconds. Show me the whole thing. And then I come to my conclusion. And usually, after seeing the context, it changes the whole thing. But most people are sheep. They just hear something, oh, bloodbath. Okay, bad. Dude, he was talking about EVs. I remember this time when I lived in Europe and there was a local election, and then someone showed me this clip making the person that I disliked look really stupid. And I thought, I don't know, I really dislike him, but is he really that stupid? Show, I need to see the whole thing. And then I look at the whole thing, and then the person that sent me the clip, I told him, you're an idiot. You dislike this guy and you fell for the media trap. Just because you dislike the guy, you thought it actually happened. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I see this happen so often. I am an independent thinker. I don't come to conclusions just based on, oh, you're supposed to think like this because everyone thinks like that. No, show me the facts. What actually happened, and then I'll come to my own conclusion. If I did the popular thing, I would have not become a Tesla stock investor in early 2019. The stock was basically flat for years when I became a Tesla stock investor. Oh, why would you invest in Tesla stock now that it has been flat for many, many years? It has no future. The bankruptcy is coming. Tesla will never make any money. It will never produce a successful mass market vehicle. You know, one day when I have kids, I'm going to teach them a class, and it's going to be called Thinking Hurts, but not thinking hurts more. Tesla releases new tap to park auto park feature in this new update, but actually it is only accessible to employees and has been a gradual testing rollout. No customer vehicles just yet. Now, what I like is that these cars that are obstructing a selectable parking space can become transparent. You can see that all of these are not transparent, but this one is. I like that. There's another wave of FSD v12.3 going out, so check it if you haven't gotten it yet. This one seems to be the biggest wave so far. And Ryan got FSD v12.3 even though he has hardware 4. And Jordan finally got his FSD. And here's a 43-minute drive from Omar. I think with 0 interventions. I'm not 100% sure though, but at least the highway part is certainly intervention free from what I understand. And someone is getting their minds blown with this hard left turn. Took some friends out for a drive so they can experience a Z beta for themselves. The reactions say it all. Let's see.
That was great. Wow. That was really good.
That's human.
Yeah. That's just how I will drive, yeah.
Before V12, Bradford didn't really hype FSD, but he now says, I get it, some Tesla nerds are skeptical about V12.3 despite all the video evidence. Elon has said nearly every version was mind-blowing and it was never this good. V12 is actually mind-blowing. And this is a pretty bullish post from him. The improvement and performance of V12.3 is still a secret despite the viewership of my roundabout video that had 86 roundabout attempts. Tesla nerds still say, but what about roundabouts? Despite the numerous city videos outside of California from us, road trip from Sacramento to New York City and back, people ask, what about outside of California? And despite the numerous reviews from people outside of California, this is Tesla nerds who don't know. Non-Tesla nerds have no flipping idea. V12.3 is a secret, Bradford says. Now, I still want to experience it myself, so I don't have a personal strong conclusion based on personal experience. I can only see what everyone else is saying and showing. And I'm looking forward to this. How long do you think it will be until the coast-to-coast drive happens? As soon as V12 is good on the highway, added to the stack, and removes the annoying things V11 does on the highway, I may do it. Now that will be a serious test then. Ideally, I want to see a live stream. I want to see an uninterrupted live stream of the drives, because when it's recorded and then uploaded, there's always a question. How many drives did you have to get this one drive? But if it's a live stream, we see exactly what happened continuously for multiple hours.